sure who his father is, are we?
Well, if you did narrow it down to a specific father, what do you think he would be like when he met Crowley?
I don't know, because Crowley's not Fergus. I mean, it's a bit... I can answer your question now. No, I don't know. It's just, I don't... That subject doesn't sort of make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I mean, maybe he would recognize Fergus when he...
Ferguson?
Ferguson.
That's a new character that I didn't know. No, I'm good.
And he came back, and now he realizes you're Crowley, so...
So basically, you want me to write your bloody fan fiction for you? Next.
Your Royal Highness.
Yes,
first
that's
of
a
all,
lot better actually. We're moving up a bit now.
Congratulations on your unborn baby girl.
Thank you.
My question is, if Crowley was to ever take someone to sit on a throne beside him, would it be a king or a queen?
You're asking about Crowley's sexuality?
I am.
Why?
For funsies.
That's the best answer I've ever had to a question.
It's a mystery.
For funsies. I'm going to use that from now on. It's for funsies. I'm trying to get that on the show. I will actually try to get that on the show, I promise. For funsies. It's perfect. We'll try to get that in. If we do, you'll know where it came from. I don't think it matters. Unfortunately, I don't think that Crowley would ever give up even half the throne.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But it's a good question.
Thank you.
I think there's a really interesting thing with some of the characters. The gentleman asked the question before. Sexuality is such a weird thing on television. We've had so much stuff about like whether you can or you can't show interracial relationships, whether you can or you can't show different versions of mixed stereotype families, or whether you actually can reflect what society really is. And yeah, it becomes such a big deal. And although I know it's not a popular thing to say, I wish it wasn't a big deal at all in any context. I know that doesn't redress the balance. I know that's also, the privilege of a majority to be able to say that. But quite honestly, the less of a big deal something is. For example, I've seen very interesting concepts of racism in my lifetime. If you figure I was born in the early 60s. So easy. Congratulations. If you keep interrupting me, you won't live much longer. I was born in the early 60s, and so there were race riots in different parts of the world, including where I'm from, that went all the way through to the early 80s, if you really think about it. And what was really interesting and fascinating for me in London, for example, is that I found that institutional racism kind of depleted itself by the very fact that so many people had intermarried by the time I was in my 20s that it was very hard to be racist because pretty much everybody had somebody of a different color in their family. So it just became a thing that time and atrophy takes away a lot from this. And I think a lot of sexuality issues as well have also fallen by the wayside. Not in some terms, and sometimes it's still ridiculous what goes on as far as some laws and some institutional concepts there. But in general and in real life and in real society, in fact when you take the money out of it, it tends to be that people are people and people treat people as people unless you give them a reason not to. And I find that being said, I think it's really, really important not to diminish the fact that there is a huge amount of discrimination against large portions of our society, of which, I'm part of those portions of society as well, but which needs to be redressed. But I think the cool way is the way that we actually happen to be doing it, which is to talk about it, be it, live it, and refuse to discriminate against it ourselves. If we are personally responsible, we tend to change the world one piece at a time.